Chapter 1, Superbird, October 2009 through February 2010, beaches near Rio Grande, Tierra del Fuego, Argentina. To watch the flight of shorebirds that have swept up and down the surf lines of the continents for untold thousands of years is to have knowledge of things that are as nearly eternal as any earthly life can be. Rachel Carson. December 8, 2009, Rio Grande, Tierra del Fuego, Argentina. My laptop says I am 6,811 miles from home. I have just arrived at Rio Grande, a small city in Tierra del Fuego, an archipelago at the southern tip of South America. I'm here to join an international group of scientists in the wintering grounds of rufa red knots. I've never been this far away from home. The night before last, I slept in the southernmost city in the world, Ushuaia, Argentina, where tourist attractions include penguin watching, glacial hiking, catamaran trips to Antarctica, and the End of the World Museum. Small herds of llama-like guanacos looked up from patches of shrubs as our rental car rattled by. Condors soared high overhead on kite-like wings. Though I am sleep-deprived from 24 hours of flying and running to make tight airplane connections, I remind myself that I have traveled barely a third of the distance a red knot flies each year. Even though it is December everywhere, it is not winter everywhere. Winter is a relative term for a bird that spends its year moving along an 18,000-mile circuit throughout the Western Hemisphere. Here, at the bottom of Argentina, it is austral, meaning southern, summer. Pale light bleeds around my window shade all night long, and by 6 o'clock a.m. the sun is glaring. A stubborn wind shakes the shrubs outside at all hours and rattles the tin sign out front. Tierra del Fuego, Land of Fire. Rufa red knots have chosen a famously remote place to pass the months October to February. Tierra del Fuego is an archipelago, group of islands, separated from mainland South America by a navigable channel called the Strait of Magellan, featuring bitter winds and treacherous currents. The biggest island, Isla Grande, partly in Chile and partly in Argentina, contains the only two major settlements, Rio Grande and Ushuaia, both in Argentina. In 1520, Ferdinand Magellan, seeking a passage to the Spice Islands of Asia, passed through the strait and saw fires set by indigenous peoples. He named the land Tierra del Fuego, or Land of Fire. In 1831, HMS Beagle, with the naturalist Charles Darwin aboard, made a closer study of the land, but the first European colonists did not settle on Tierra del Fuego until 1871. Indigenous peoples quickly died off of diseases such as measles and smallpox, against which they had no immunity. Others were imprisoned. Today, the main language is Spanish. Ushuaia has become a major tourist destination for adventurers and is a jumping-off point for Antarctica, some 600 miles to the south. After breeding in the faraway Arctic, thousands of red knots, an estimated 60% of the entire rufa population gather here on the shores of this barren, windswept region between the months of October and February. I have been invited to join a research team organized by Dr. Alan Baker, professor of ecology and evolutionary biology at the University of Toronto, and Patricia Gonzalez, a noted Argentine shorebird biologist. Here in Tierra del Fuego, we will attempt a catch, banding and studying knots on the Atlantic shoreline near the town of Rio Grande. Because the rufa red knot population has crashed so drastically in such a short time, scientists are keen to discover how many knots are here and what percentage of them are juveniles. They're hoping for a higher than normal percentage of young birds within a catch, as that would indicate a successful breeding season. After breakfast, Alan and Patricia announced that we will attempt a catch this very morning. A large flock of knots has been spotted on a beach near the Naval Prefecture, a fortress-like building that functions as a Coast Guard station a few miles away. With luck, we'll be able to briefly capture birds with a cannon-fired net, band those not already banded, and record the measurements indicating their age, gender, weight, feather condition, bill length, and overall health before releasing them. Why do red knots go so far?